Okay, guys. So today on GDG Soweto, we have a wonderful speaker. We have Joy, who's going to be walking us through angular signals, an introduction to reactive communication. So, this talk provides a beginner friendly introduction to angular signals, highlighting their importance in facilitating reactive communication between components. Now, let me stop chit chatting too much and leave it to our amazing speaker.
Okay, hi. Thank you, Simon, for that awesome introduction. And thank you for inviting me to GDG Soweto. Have I got that right? I, is it GDG Soweto?
Perfect. GDG Soweto.
Okay. Okay. So thank you for joining this session. I hope it's interactive. If you have any question, please just feel free to interrupt me at any time. So let me just share my screen. Okay, can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can. Guys,
Okay,
if
so
there's any questions in the chat, please let us know. If you can't see Joy's screen, please tell us in the chats.
okay, I'll give that 2 minutes then. A minute for you to check that.
Okay, everyone's good in the chats.
Okay. So again, hi, my name is Joy. I'm happy to be here with you all. I'm a software engineer based in Nairobi, Kenya. Right now, I'm working for a company known as Delight. It's a solar company where we aim in lighting lives of 1 million people to 1 billion people right now. Um, I also help in leading an amazing community known as Angular Kenya. And if you want to follow me right now, this is just a disclaimer. I deactivated my Twitter, so you cannot find me here. Just please, you can send a request on LinkedIn. Okay. So today we are going to be talking about Angular signals, an introduction to reactive communication. So, Angular signals was recently introduced with a new version of Angular, which is Angular 17. Has anyone played around with it yet? Simon, has anyone played around it yet with it yet from your community?
Well, we've just been reading the docs so far, so we're still a bit new to it.
Ah, okay. Also, even for me, it's a little bit new. I haven't like used it yet at work, or I've just used it in my personal project. So it's amazing for us to learn together. So in case I'm wrong somewhere, just feel free to interrupt me. Okay, let's get to it. So whenever you think about signals, we should start from the basics. We should always ask ourselves, what is reactive programming? So reactive programming is being able to work with a synchronous stream of data. So this means you're receiving data from multiple sources and you're able to process it. You can think of reactive programming as you're receiving data from a pipe where data is flowing from one end to another. So reactive programming is being able to handle async operations easily by treating these as streams of data, right? So how we did it before, we did it with RxJS. I don't know the some of you have been able to play with RxJS. Signals came in Angular 17, as I've said earlier, as an improvement to RxJS, right? They're not a replacement to RxJS. So if I am to quickly show you what reactive programming means, is right now you see the username here is Maxim Nieno, right? So if you change the user, say to value 5, for example, uploads it to um, it quickly changes the name quickly. So here we are fetching data. I mean the users using the index, right? So if I change it to say 15, I hope there's a 15. Oh, there's no 15. Um, one. Say let's add a 10. I hope there's a 10. Oops, no 10. So one, two. Let's see whether there's something else. Three. So as you can see, this username just changes its value without us needing to refresh this page, right? So the idea of reactive programming is being able to fetch data. You subscribe to unobservable and being able to show changes when the data changes from the source, right? I hope I haven't confused you. So whenever you think about reactive programming, always think about how can I improve my website by making performance fast and performance look instant, right? Like right now, if I change it to, I really don't want it to go to an error. Let us see. Um, so if I change it to two, it quickly updates to Samantha without me needing to refresh or log in or log out for some sites, right? So that's what reactive means. You receive instant changes when your source changes. Okay. So what is a signal? A signal is just a wrapper around a value that notifies its consumers when a value changes. So signals can contain any values, from primitives to complex data structures. Signals can either be writable or read only. So we can have a quick demo right here. So this is an I use light mode, by the way. Um, is everyone comfortable with the light mode, or I should change it? It's a little bit weird for most people. People could
Perfect.
hear me. Oh, okay. Okay. So yeah, I was saying that if you're comfortable with that, if you're not comfortable with this, you can just change it real quick if you're not comfortable with light mode. So yeah. So how we create a signal is basically by we can sort of like, let me just do a quick one. New signal. So you can just create like a random variable. Say this is GDG Soweto, right? And you need to initialize it with the signal function, which comes from where the signal is provided from Angular core. So you can see it just right here. So if you want to view the documentation and the methods have, you can just come here and check it out. So yeah, you can initialize it with any value that you want. You can initialize it with a 0. You can initialize it with hi, I'm Joy. You can initialize it with I think you can also do it with an array. Let us see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. You can also do something like an object name, Joy, um, age, age you can have 16. Okay. So this is basically how you can just picture it as a normal variable, right? So if I change it back to what did I change it back to? GDG Soweto. I like emojis, so let me add some emojis um, to show how happy I am to present to you today. Yeah, so we can just log it by just um calling this here. So one thing you have to note with signals, you call them using a function, right? You don't just call them like a normal variable. You need to use a method to call on them for it to display GDG Soweto. Let me just show you real quick. So let me refresh this page. So this is the page which I'm using right now, right? So I hope my logger is huge. So as you can see, this is what it logs, right? GDG Soweto. So we've called it using the method parentheses. So if I do this instead, um it will give me this value, and this is not what we want. It will just say this is how it will just return me a method. I mean, what is contained there, right? So this is what, and this is not what we want. So if you want to get the value, you need to always add that. Okay. So that's basically signals. You can picture them as normal variables, but they are really not. You just need to use the keyword signal to create a signal, and then when you're calling them or when you want to use them, you call them using, I mean, like you're calling a function somewhere. Okay. So features of signals are they need initial data, they have better change detection, we can read values at all times, and they are easy to create view models from. Okay. So here, this is what we've just done. We've created a signal directly. So signals that are writable offer an API for directly updating the values. So if you wanted to change the value of say GDG Soweto, so right now it should log this, right? So if you wanted to update, so let me add a new comment down here and say updating my GDG Soweto um, variable. Okay. So what you do is GDG Soweto, and then use the set method. Oops, in lowercase, and then you say GDG Soweto is a cool community. Okay. And then if you log here again, let me just use this. If you log here and say updated, oops, today I have a lot of updated variable, and then you do GDG Soweto. So we expect our our signal to change to this value instead of this one. Okay, so if I remove this, let me remove the first logger and put the updated variable instead, and let's see whether that works. I really hope it does. Yeah, so here we have the updated variable is GDG, so it is a cool environment, is a cool community. Okay, so that's how we update signals. This is the update method. This is the first creation method. Okay, so this is how we update our signals. Okay, or you can use the update method, but this one takes in an arrow function if I'm not wrong. So we have, okay, we can use, so here we're using the set method. Let me just change this to set, and here actually I could have copied that, but it's okay. So here we say update method. So we have GDG Soweto.update. So it takes in my previous value, or you can say C, or you can just put in anything that's here. Okay, another function, and then we say C plus I don't know, with awesome people, with awesome people. Okay, so and then we log it once more. I hope my thing works. Updated variable with set method. us see whether that works. Oh yeah, it works. So I need to add some spacing somewhere here for it to make sense. Sorry for the errors. And here we go. Method GDG Soweto is a cool community with awesome people. Okay. You can even add an exclamation mark. So that's how we basically do the creation and the updates. So if you go away with this today, I think you'll be a very you will have gained a lot from this session today. My slides. Okay. So when you trick the signal value, a notification pops up hinting that the signal has changed. But you always need to call on your variable for you to see the changes that have happened. So if you don't sort of like call on your variables, say if I just leave it like this, I don't call in my GDG Soweto signal, I'll not see anything on the console that signifies that my signal has changed. I'll not see the logger that I had with other people. You see, it will just remain. It will show nothing. But I need always to call my signals for me to see my changes. Okay, so we can also do it real quickly. Okay, I'll do that later. So aside from the signals we create, there are also signals that we need to compute, right? Say we need to multiply a value with another value. You need to multiply a signal times 2 or something, or times 3. So you have you've created a signal of 300 and you would like to multiply it with times 3, right? So these are what we call computed signals. We derive them from other values, right? The benefit of computed signals is caching and their memoization. So this means that if a computed signal does not change, Angular will not like carry out this whole operation again. Okay, so what I mean is here, as you can see, what we're doing is we are creating a normal signal and initializing the value 100 to it, right? And then we compute it by multiplying by 2. So ideally, our output should be 200, okay? So if I never change this value, Angular will not recalculate this operation again because nothing has changed. So this is what we call caching. It will store the value somewhere for me. So when I refresh a page again, Angular will just fetch the value that was previously held onto my cache and display it on my page. Okay. But if I change this to 3, for some reason, sorry, if I change my 2 to 3, it will do the recalculation again and then display it on my page. So how this helps is we don't necessarily waste Angular does not necessarily waste its resources. Actually, it improves performance of your Angular application because here we are caching values unless there's a value that has changed. Okay. An important thing to note is computed signals cannot be updated since they are not writable signals. So a computed signal is not a writable signal. So you cannot come here. Okay, let us just do this quickly. I think I have it here. So this is my computed signal. Let me just put emojis for you to see. I know light mode can be quite okay. So this is our writable signal. I mean our computed signal, sorry. So here, ideally, what we're doing is we're initializing our weight first to a writable signal and saying it's a number. So the same thing we're doing here, giving it a type, we could do it here as well. You could also say this is a string. you're just giving it a type. So this is also a writable signal. So in this case, our weight is also a writable signal. If you, I hope you can see my screen properly. So this is a writable signal, which is a number, which means you can easily update, update it. Okay. Um. So for you to compute a signal, use the keyword computed. This is our function that we use, and then it's an arrow function that we just take in the weights. So here we are accessing our writable signal and multiplying it by 2. Okay, so what would happen if I did something like double weight dot set, um, see, it complains because this one does not allow updates. Or if I do an update, let's see what it will bring. It also complains because this is a computed signal. The trick of knowing what is computed or what is not is if you see your signal is using this method, then you always know this is a computed signal. Let me just push this down. So this is a computed signal, so they cannot be updated. You can do something like multiply it by 3. This will work. Multiply it by 4. This will change the value, but you cannot directly change this calculated variable. I hope that makes sense. Um, okay. Oops.
Okay, Joy, can we just ask a quick question there? So, just to make it practical in the sense to say that when looking at popular apps today, whether it be like WhatsApp or Netflix or Instagram, just to say how would a signal probably be used in those apps, just so we can understand it basically.
Okay. Okay. So, whenever you think about, I don't know how to explain it. Give me a moment to sort of like think about it.
Okay.
So, um, signals, what they provide is something known as, they have an element which provides something known as reactive programming, right? So, what reactive programming means is your changes happen instantly. Okay. So, say for example, Netflix right now, for some reason, they they introduce a new movie called GDG Soweto, okay? And you're watching something, say you're just scrolling through, and then you see the cards. I wish I had a Netflix account open. I would have shown you. It would have been easier. Uh, uh, Oops, I don't have a Netflix account. But anyway, um, so you see the way it displays the movies on your account when you're looking for a movie, right? And then for some reason GDG Soweto movie comes up. So you really don't have to so you don't have to refresh the application for you to see the new card of GDG Soweto. So what it does, it fetches the data directly from your database or your JSON file and sort of like displays it instantly. So if there's a new release of an episode, for example, we don't have to you don't have to log in and log out for you to see the new episode. It always automatically comes on your page. It was a simple example which was given here. Say for the user Samantha. Right now it's Samantha, right? So if I change it to sorry for the error. If I change it to 4, automatically it fetches my new user using my ID, right? It does not wait for me to come here and refresh it. It does it like automatically. It does it like automatic updates. So that's what signals bring about. They bring about the feature of reactivity to your application. So you really don't have to, you picture it as a
Okay, so Just to sort of make it relate, an example is, would you say it's similar to asynchronous JavaScript like Ajax?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, okay. And I see we have a question there. It says, would VPNs affect this?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm
Okay.
not sure. Yeah.
Okay, no, you can continue.
Okay, sorry about that. Is the understanding of signals clear now?
Yeah.
Okay. But if you've ever worked with observables or RxJS, I mean, then signals would be easier, I guess. Okay. So so far we have been showing signals supporting primitive values like numbers, strings. So, but what would happen if you define a signal whose value is an array or an object? Okay, I think I've shown you this earlier. So I have a simple array somewhere here. Uh, so this is how we initialize a signal to contain an array. Okay, so this is popular food. So I just put in what's popular here in Kenya, and another array with other food, which is asparagus, cabbage, and carrots. Okay. So if you want, for example, to update the list of your food array, let me just put it in. So here we have pizza, we have spaghetti, and we have rice, and you'd like to push pilau to it. So pilau is a popular food in Kenya. Can you give me a popular food in South Africa? An example?
It's very popular. It's actually, if you were here in person giving this talk, just after this talk, you'd be eating pizza. That's how popular it is.
Ah, okay. Anything else? Pizza always
Try,
have pizza in my
kota,
life.
try kota, KOTA,
KOTA. Okay.
KOTA.
Okay. Yeah. So let me, to avoid just scrolling up and down. So this is what we initialized our food signal to be. So it contains like pizza, spaghetti, and rice. Okay. So right now we want to push for arrays. We know that if you want to add a new element to our array, we just use the push method. So this is how you do it, but never forget calling on to your signal using um the method notation. So here we are pushing quota. Okay, so updated food, sorry about that, South Africa. Let me just put something. Yeah. And then okay, so here we have the updated food, and then you can see it has pizza, spaghetti, rice, and quota. So we have added our quota in here. So it's there. Okay. And then if you wanted to add some things, I mean, if you wanted to add some cabbage, you could just push in some cabbage. If you wanted to, what else was I doing here? Sorry. Okay. If you wanted to shift, you just shift. If you wanted to splice, you just splice. This just contains all normal methods a normal array could have. Okay. Normal methods an array could have. Could normally have. Okay. So if you wanted to have like an object, say city. So here initialize a city object, which has ID, Nairobi, name, and population. Okay. So if I wanted to update it, what I'd just do is I just call in my variable, my signal variable, and then the property you want to update, and then South Africa. And then right now, it would log in South Africa as my city name. Okay. So here we have the name is South Africa. So that's how we work with signals. Okay. So I've captured that here already. Okay. Okay. So I think what I'd like to say right now is when you think about signals, always think about of improving the performance of your website. So right now I didn't want to do a deep dive because it would confuse most of you. Whenever you think about signals, always think about reactive programming and instant updates. So for you to improve the sites of your application, when you use signals, or if you are an Angular OG, maybe you've used RxJS, you always know that these two tools can easily improve the performance of your application, and they can make they make your life easier. Actually, you don't have to tell your users if you do an update. You know that this says way if you do an update, for example, say if you change a logo or your text or your, I don't know, username, you have to log in and log out for you to view the recent update on your website. But not for but when it comes to signals or RxJS, you see these changes happen instantly. So whenever you think about signals, always remember reactive programming. They are here to improve the performance of your application by making your website reactive. Okay. Sorry if I could not come up with a better. I apologize. I couldn't come up with a better example, but next time I'll try my best. So yeah. Okay. So let me see where I was. I had another example here. I don't know where I was calling it. Um, oops. This is okay. So before I go into this, I'd like us to look into important takeaways. So the main goals of signals is to, like I've said, introduce the reactive essence of your applications. So this makes things easier in such that they make your applications responsive, performant, and seamless. Okay. And they also improve the performance of your application such that you don't need to render all the time. Okay. So remember the example which I've just shown you where I'm changing the ID, but I don't need to refresh for it to change the name of my user. It just happens instantly. Okay. Um, so another thing that happens in Angular is when you do a change on your components. So Angular goes through the entire component tree and looks at your changes. Okay. Even though one thing has changed, but in this case, signals help done in cutting down the cost of checking for changes on your tree um, components in Angular. Okay, so it just checks for what has changed. Remember the caching we have just shown you, where when you compute a signal, for example, and the value hasn't changed, then Angular caches it for you. And then if you refresh it and you just haven't changed your values, it just fetches it. Okay. Um, so till here, are there any questions? I'm sure there are many. I was about to draw. Are there any questions? Just feel free to ask. We can learn from each other.
So far, no questions, not even in the chat.
Okay, can I ask a question on my end? So I just want to know, in terms of when you're debugging signals, is it any different from any other components when you debug?
When you debug signals, is it any different from debugging any components? I don't understand your question, but could you come up again, please?
So how do you debug your signals?
So the only place which I think you can debug your signals is by just looking at the value. Say for example, I honestly don't know how to answer that question. If your signal gives a bad value or your signal gives an inaccurate value, how would you debug that? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, or do you just refer to your terminal at all times?
No, not really. You can always even log it here. You can log it. Let me just do it real quick here. Um, we can. Do you want it to appear on the page? Um, sorry.
Yeah.
Do you want us to log it somewhere here? Our signal? You can log it here actually. You can log something here on our page. So what would happen is, say I introduce my right now variable, my SA variable. And then we say it's a writable signal. And then we give it the type string. Okay. What's up? Okay. Okay. So we are initializing this variable, okay? And then we can just come here on ng on init and then just do something like this. My SA variable, and then we can sort of like set it to, what can you set it to? Hello world. Okay, and then can log it somewhere here. I can do something like my SA variable, and then we call it like that. Let me see whether that's accurate. Looks good to me or not. Something has crashed. What has crashed? Yeah, I haven't set it initially. I always have to set it. So here you could do something like signal my South Africa. Let's remove this and see and hope whether that works. I hope it does. Okay, to avoid you confusing you, see here we have just set it as hello world, right? So it's updated here, hello world. Have you seen?
Yeah.
If you want it to remain the same, you can just remove this line here and save it back, and then you see South Africa. You can even add sorry, I love emojis. I'm celebrating something. Yeah, so there you go. South Africa.
Okay. And then can you have a signal be dependent on another signal?
Can you have a signal be dependent on another signal? Do you have a case in mind? I'm trying to picture a case in
So I'm
mind.
thinking maybe something like if you have a full name which is compiled of first name and last name, and if any of them change, it'll signal the full name to change.
Yes, it will. That's what I was saying. Here. Let me just create another signal. Let me put it as any. So here we have my name. And then So what you're saying is, say your first name is, let's say, first name. Your first name is Signal, which is say my name is Joy, and my second name is Linda. Okay, and then my name is equals to computed, and then is it like 2 or 3? Say, I hope I'm correct here. First name plus last name, second name. Second name. Something is wrong somewhere. Let me see what is wrong. Computed. Oh yeah, it's supposed to be something like this. So we have that. Oh yeah, it's supposed to be first name plus last name. Oh, second name. Second name. And then can easily come here and log it again. So hit run again. Oops. What did I do? My name. Yeah. Let me just add an emoji to keep things interesting. And then let's see how this works. Yeah, it does. So if we change Joy, so if I change this one to Simon, for example, okay, it changes to Simon Linda, okay.
Okay, that's cool.
If I change it to Caleb, it does change that. But for computed signals, remember you cannot come here and update them like this. Okay. You cannot come here and do this. It will not work. Set hello. Now let us see. See, it complains, it crashes. And the reason it crashes, this my name.set is not a function. So these computed signals don't have set method. You cannot update them. You can update these writable signals up here. Okay. There. Any other question? Oh, sorry. I use the console here for just teaching purposes. You can always use your signals to display something on the page, like I've shown here. Sorry
Okay, no, that's really cool, eh?
if that has confused you. Sorry. Yeah. Is there any other question?
No question. Just a comment to say that when you're doing web dev, the console is always open. To be honest, F12 is our favorite button on the browser.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's normal. I just thought you assumed that signals are used on the console only, but that's not the case. You can use them. Yeah. I think if when I swipe through this slide, I'm done. But is there any other question, please? I can take any question. I mean, any question. If you want to ask me when's my birthday, this is your chance. I think.
When's your birthday?
July 29th. Or any other question, I'd be happy to take it.
Okay, no, that's cool. And then last question on my side is, how did you actually learn Angular?
Mine is a funny story. So after finishing university, I applied to a role, and on the first day, I didn't know I was going there to do Angular, because they just said we just need software developers. They never really said which stack they needed. So I applied and got the job. So on the first day, they told me we need you to build a site with Angular. I never knew anything to do with Angular. So first day thrown on the deep end, and yeah, right now I'm going. I think this is my third year right now doing Angular. So yeah, that's how it happened. Very funny story.
Okay, no, that's cool. That's cool. And then obviously, in terms of the latest release of Angular version 17, how do you feel about that?
Um, like I said, I've not like explored it a lot because even at work right now we haven't like moved completely. I learn most of my things from work. Um, but with honestly, the thing which I like about Angular 17 is the updated documentation. It's quite awesome. And what they're doing to improve and sort of like make Angular easier for developers, for new developers to learn. Honestly, before I feel Angular was a bit complicated when starting out as your first framework. Angular was my very first framework. I never when I started my job actually during that time, I didn't even know JavaScript. I was just a Python person um during that time. So you can imagine the struggle that I had to go through to understand Angular. So yeah, so I think right now with the new Angular, it just makes things easy for people to learn and assimilate new concepts in the framework. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So we have two questions in the chat. The first is, do you offer mentorship?
Yes, yes, I do. Yes, I do. It's been a long time ever since I did. Ever since I was on break, but right now I'm open. I can take a few people. Yeah, in Angular
I'm assuming yes in Angular.
or as a software developer. Okay, fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay, cool. And the other question was, what do you enjoy about Angular?
What do I enjoy about Angular? This this is a little bit funny. You know, at one point when I'm coding, I think I know Angular, but the next day someone comes with a new question or a new concept in Angular. I'm like, oh my god, where did this come from? So one thing I enjoy about Angular is the framework is quite deep. It's you know that thing you think Angular cannot do. Trust me, it's there. Trust me, it's there. So it's discovering the new things that Angular can do day in day out, and I honestly like its structure. I like the way we get to. I don't like mixing up things. I follow the solid principles where a component should do one thing or a function should do one thing and one thing only. So I like the idea where Angular introduces modularity, and it helps organize your code. And if you think about it long term in your organization, it makes your code look cleaner and better and awesome. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, then we'll take one more. So the other one is, would you recommend using Angular with large slash complex data?
Large slash complex data. Could you please elaborate? Can the person elaborate on large and large? What does he mean by large? Um, is it like for a big organization? Are you talking about dealing data for a big organization or smaller guy? Because
Yeah, I
I
think essentially that is the question. So then I guess you'd be dealing with maybe a huge database, and then you're really trying
uh
to feed that information through your Angular components.
yeah, yeah, but remember, you have to always think about your state management, okay? So if you're dealing with large data, think about your state management. think about how you're going to incorporate NGRX or observables can also help with state management, but think about that a lot because if you fetch directly from your database, it will work, yes, but ultimately it will make your application slower in the long run. So you'll have users coming in and using your applications. Yes, the thing works, but it's slow and it's frustrating to the users. I think I've ever encountered such a problem before, and we had to do a refactor of the code end to end. Yeah. So
Okay,
think
cool.
about this management. Yeah. Think about how you're going to put in the middle layer between your backend and your component, making the component as dumb as possible. Yeah.
Nice.
Any other question? I hope to visit Soweto soon. I mean Joburg soon.
No, Soweto, not Joburg.
Oh,
Soweto.
Soweto. Okay. Okay.
Funny, so Soweto isn't Joburg, but when you come to Joburg, come to Soweto.
Ah.
Makota
Okay.
waiting for you.
Okay. Okay. December. I'll come there.
Perfect.
Yeah. I'm not joking. You'll see me there.
We're also not joking. You'll see your Kota here.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Um. For my socials, you can please, if you need to reach out to me, just text me on LinkedIn or LinkedIn is where I am available. I go with my name's Joy. Um. Yeah, you just find me there. And remember to always keep on building. I have shown you how to use signals right now, but you will not fully understand it until you use it yourself. Um, if you're a beginner in Angular, I'd recommend you starting with RxJS for you to understand the journey a little bit. It will make you cement the idea of signals. I know signals is a new concept. Yeah, but thank you for having me, and I'll share these slides with Simon. Yeah, I'll share them with you. And asante sana. This is Swahili meaning thank you. So this is one takeaway you can take away from this session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Joy, and thank you to everyone else for joining today's session. We appreciate you tuning in and learning about Angular and Signals. And please do stay glued to our community page so that you can be notified of upcoming events as well. Thanks, everyone.